the unexpected happens. And I'm not saying that there wasn't trouble brewing in the Ukraine, and I don't know how long back it goes. I'm not a student of Eastern European geopolitical events, but what I would say is that, who would have ever thought that we would be blindsided by a pandemic if we were having this discussion over Thanksgiving in 2019? So unexpected happens, shit happens. And so if you're going to store your metal, I would only work with a very reputable deal or reputable institution like a Brinks, who has a very big balance sheet, who's not going to abscond with your money unless they were told by a government edict that they had to give it up. Now, look, is that a possibility? Yeah, absolutely. And anyone who stores metal understands that, or anyone asking that question understands that. But I think you weigh your options. You hope for the very, very best. You take every step you can to prepare for the worst. There are a lot of people who would rather not store things, even in a very reputable institution like Brinks. There is wisdom in the statement that if you don't own it physically, or possess it, you don't own it. Now, that's really not true.
Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary, aka Mr. Wonderful, has sounded the alarm about an impending financial crisis. We have a crisis emerging, he warned, emphasizing that small business owners will be cut off at the regional bank level. He stressed, "You're going to hear a lot of people crying about this in the next few months." Silver price is on a 5-day losing streak, hitting a 1-week low at $23.90. The US dollar's rebound after the Labor Day holiday influenced this downturn. Silver struggled to break a 7-week resistance line and broke below the 50 CME, supported by bearish MACD signals. However, the nearly oversold RSI suggests a limited downside, highlighting the key support at the 200 CME, around $23.75. If it drops below, the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement at $23.30 is the final defense. An upside break in the 50 CME at $24.30 could attract buyers, but resistance at $24.65 awaits. Gold prices dropped for the second session in a row on Tuesday amidst rising open interest and volume, which is indicative that further losses appear on the cards for the precious metal in the very near term. That said, the 200-day SMA at $1,916 per ounce Troy now emerges as the immediate support. Now let's continue our discussion with Andy.
People who are actively in this market understand what's going on with the price. They understand that it is being done to maintain an illusion of strength and stability in a currency that is fractured and fragmented and starting to lose share of its global dominance. And I think the price is less of a hindrance in terms of its counterintuitive action or its non-performance yet. I think people are understanding, even if it frustrates them, that deep down this is a good thing. This is a subsidy. You don't walk into Nordstrom's and those that are still open that aren't being closed because of theft, but you walk into one and the pair of jeans you wanted are on sale. You don't say, crap, I wish I could pay full price. Now, that's a clever way of saying it. I'm not trying to be, but what I'm saying is that the people have greater understanding though. Now, largely in part to things that you say and the reinforcement of the broader fundamentals that people understand. So, look, I know people would like to see prices moving much higher. We always say, be careful what you wish for. And the longer they're able to maintain the illusion of status quo, the better value it is. And I guess you just have to ask yourself if you're frustrated by the lack of price performance, would you rather have everything falling apart and things really getting interesting on multiple levels, geopolitical and political and social and all of the things that would impact our lives with a higher price in silver, tailing along? That's going to come, but let's not rush it. I think the fundamentals are so strong right now that before we know it, those types of prices will be evident. But I'm more concerned about what comes along with it. But hey, look, and gold just said I believe it's all-time high in China and Japan, just on Friday. So, or maybe even on Monday. It was just the other day. I just read an article that, it's rising in other currencies. The dollar's strength is blinding the reality that gold and silver are performing really, really, really well in other currencies. So give it time. And as the dollar starts to lose its share of settlement transactions in energy, I think ultimately it will start to erode its reserve status. And then we will start to see gold and silver take off the way that we have always anticipated. And just have to hang on, I guess, and trust your gut.
China is pushing for universal national adoption of the digital yuan, with People's Bank of China's PBOC officials stating the currency should be available for all retail payment scenarios. The recent introduction of a standard for QR-based payment codes is part of this move, which also seeks to make wholesale payments interoperable with the digital yuan. The government in Seoul intends to submit new legislation tailored to facilitate the tracking and freezing of crypto used to fund the weapons programs of North Korea. A bill has been drafted after extended consultations between ministries with the aim to make South Korean sanctions more effective and improve the country's cybersecurity.
I say that on all the podcasts I'm on. I say that your interview with Bart Chilton changed the way that I look at this world in terms of this gold and silver world. And what Jack said certainly blew me away to the nth degree. I think both are required listening if you are invested in metals. And so, they made over 3 million eagles in the month of August. And that's 3 times what they've been making, yet still below what they have the capacity to make. I think they got so lambasted, including Representative Mooney from West Virginia, I believe, sent them a letter saying, what the hell are you guys doing? So interesting times. The premiums have, I think, bottomed. They've plateaued. They're not going down further. The Eagles have started to inch back up. The Mint pumped out 3 million. They came down a bit. I guess you'd say we're in a holding pattern right now. And that to me is the most befuddling thing of all. I'm not, I try to be, objective in the way that I look at things. I try to look at things the way that other people would look at things. And I guess the truth of the matter is that, Chris, we're still the minority in this ecosystem of finances. We are still the minority. And until the public wakes up and realizes the importance of protecting themselves with something like the hard asset, like precious metals, the way that the central banks are doing, then I think it's going to be frustrating in terms of watching these developments, whether it be a higher price or seeing the premiums take off. They will again. And again, I'll say, I believe it will be the banks that light the fuse. I really do believe that. There will be bank failures and bail-ins that light the fuse. So it befuddles me that the premiums aren't rising, that the demand for physical, look, don't get me wrong, it's still strong. It's not like it was in 2017. It's still very, very strong. And we're on pace to have our biggest year ever. I never thought that would be possible after last year. But my point is it should be tenfold stronger based upon what I see in this economy and what I see on a broader macro perspective. So no, premiums have not taken off yet. They've plateaued. It's a very consumer-friendly market, both in price premium and also availability.
That wraps up today's crypto news highlights. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and analysis from the world of cryptocurrencies. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.